Friends, are youth jobless in India? Is the joblessness seen today voluntary unemployment, like people choosing not to work due to freebies directly credited to their bank accounts, or an unwillingness to work for a sum below their expectation because they made certain investment on education? Reasons could be any. Can the country keep its GDP growth intact? And can India seek to become a $5 trillion by the end of the decade? What is the truth behind all this and what can we do? That's the subject for today, friends, and let's see what I make of it. The gig economy, as per Niti Aayog, currently employs around 7.7 million workers and is projected to grow to 23.5 million by 2930. Another 4 years. It means many youth not sufficiently educated are employed though the quality of employment is low. That said, automation and AI has rendered a lot of entry jobs either redundant or vulnerable. Add a lack of skills and the scenario becomes disconcerting. If the people work below their capacity of productivity, then of course the productivity will be lower and consequently the economic growth will be slower. It is estimated that a large portion of our workforce is educated only up to the junior or maybe high school level or a little higher than that, particularly in rural areas, contributing to a skills gap in the market. So eventually they become informal workers or construction sites, end up as labor for any odd job. Many start out, as a low tier informal workers and remain so for the rest of their lives. Who is employed in India? Rather interesting that the country considers employment if a person has worked for at least 1 hour or more or on any 1 or more days during a reference period. Doesn't this definition need a relook? Though the average monthly income for such labor force is around 11,200 rupees per month, which itself is low, many workers earn even less than 10,000 rupees, as the data from the periodic labor force survey a couple of years back reveals. Youth unemployment in India was reported at about 10% in the same period, though it is lower than the global youth unemployment number. Even as the total labor force is approximately 650 million people, as per the World Bank report, with most of them in short-term jobs, about 10% unemployment rate will mean that there are 7 crore people who are unemployed. Many of them are actually considered underemployed since they work below the skill level required for the job they actually do. Even as the competition for the few available jobs is fierce, are there jobs that promise more security and stability? We need to address the problem in earnest. For we are a growing economy and for it could stunt the country's overall growth. The challenge is enormous, with a report released last July predicting that we need to create 12 million jobs every year over the next decade, whereas at the current economic growth rate, the capacity is barely 8 to 9 million. Skills gap is another worry that the country needs to address, with nearly 50% graduate holders being unemployable. In-demand skills such as digital competencies are found wanting. Skills such as advanced engineering and data processing required to land a job, whichever be the industry, are also lacking. So this has put additional pressure on the employment market. Now the service sector that has a capacity to create almost 60% of the jobs, available jobs, is constrained by the limitations of its digital infrastructure, regulatory hurdles, and limited access to capital. So the recent economic survey of India points out that just about 51 of the graduates considered employable, meaning a significant portion of youth are overqualified for the jobs they eventually take up due to the skills gap in the market, and with roughly half of the graduates not meeting current job demands at all. Several universities are cashing in on the current craze of a career in AI, even announcing a BTech in AI or a BTech in machine learning without gauging their long-term implications. If one is trained to be an AI engineer but ends up working as an entry-level data analyst or works as a web designer because there are no AI ML jobs currently available in the market, is it not a mockery of the degree that she holds? The disconnect is so profound that we have graduates with degrees but not with skills demanded by the employers, and we have graduates who are stuck in the wrong jobs or wrong industries. Are academic qualifications depreciating its value? That being the story, what can be done? There is a need for policy support for the private sector to absorb more graduates. Internships, entrepreneurship programs, they're all a must. Even as more than 3.2 million people enrolled last year under the National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, it sees only mixed results in its translation to actual jobs. Should our youth be encouraged to launch startups? That couple of years back again, the Global University Entrepreneurial Spirit Students Survey report says that almost 32% of the university students are already engaged in starting a venture. Very good. Besides harnessing the power of social media to market their wares, some youth are also offering services as tour guides in their areas. Others are also able to tap crowdfunding and access microloans using their smartphones. However, this needs entrepreneurship training, which the universities must invest in. These could be micro and family-run ventures that create a few jobs per business. As of early year, over 1.59 lakh startups recognized by the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, in India, marking a significant growth in the Indian startup ecosystem through the Startup India initiative. However, only 18% of these were women-led. Women empowerment with aggressive rebates on their ventures could actually add to several new jobs. Massive improvements in the manufacturing sector are also needed. It has a potential to create 35% of the jobs. It creates much less today with a 15% share in the GDP. Make in India is expected to raise it to 25% with a focus on creation of new jobs. Additionally, the government must promote rural revitalization, get people back to the rural areas with policies that help divert urban youth into work to boost agricultural innovation, education, and community development in the villages. Even as our job story moves on, we must regulate less, tax less, and litigate less. That alone will lead to innovation and more job creation. With that, friends, the job market today is disrupted with AI and the tools available therein, and one must be extremely vigilant in skilling oneself, constantly skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. That's the only way to progress times to come. We need higher order skills even at the entry level. That's the hard truth. With that, friends, I remain. Thank you, Dhanyavad, and Namaskar.